it was that free hit week that you hit a what's it called, a last minute free hit there, and then with that Bruno
Yeah.
captain, it actually slapped because you were looking for an excuse not to play a free hit that week, and then playing that free hit
Uh,
worked out so well.
yeah, I did. I was so happy with that. It was one of the better chips I've played in a long time. I mean, this season's actually been good. My assistant manager was decent.
Mm,
My triple captain was really good. My free hit was pretty good. I just need to nail the bench boost now after the wild card that I just played. So
yeah,
fingers crossed. But now that the
and you've
podcast is back, you see Bilal's already top again.
yeah, it's inevitable, but yeah, that chip strategy is gonna be rough navigating it because that game week 34 blank and the 37 blank, I think are gonna be two interesting um what's it called 'em, weeks. That's gonna be, I think, very pivotal to who ends up winning our league.
Yeah, because you guys still have free hit, right?
Mm. I've got free hit, assistant manager, and bench boost, yeah.
Yeah, you should overtake me by then with those chips.
But the thing with bench boost and stuff, you don't end up actually even getting that much of a gap because thing is people set up for double game weeks well enough, to be honest, to not capitalize enough on the bench boost. So I guess we'll try, but I think that main one is the free hit's probably got the best chance of actually giving me a decent gap. I went very templatey on my wild card. I went very, very templatey because I said I want to get a nice template going, and then if I want to consider risk, I'll probably take it. But now the problem is this Gabriel injury has forced me to now try and be a little bit clever with it. So I'm gonna try and see how I can use the injuries to make it work. But I'm trying to also navigate using all my chips and all my chips for the next few weeks, and I want to try. I'm potentially going to consider assistant manager in 31, and I'm trying to save transfers actually for that instead of actually wasting transfers on players at the moment. So I'm going to see how that works for now. But at this point in time, I just want to get through this game week, see the injury news on Isak, and I think Gabriel's confirmed out for the season, but just see if there's anyone else carrying something, and then see if I need to make any changes there. So I'm considering assistant manager 31, but I'm trying to, which is this coming week, yeah, which is this weekend. But my only issue with that is that I don't have many managers that have solid table bonus at the moment. So I'm trying to be very aggressive with it. And if I don't get managers that I can play a table bonus on, I might actually push it out to later in the season. And I might then bench boost potentially on 33 and use assistant manager towards the end of the season and see if I can try and get some teams fighting for relegation there to get some decent results. I think it was
Yeah,
such a good
I'm
time to
glad I
play it.
played it and got some points, but I'm a bit gutted that I don't have any chips left now at this point besides the bench boost, you know. So I'm a bit nervous about the points that I'm gonna be watching you guys get that I won't be
But I
able to
think,
get.
but I think the blanks are not big enough and like and easy enough to navigate if you can stock some transfers up. That's what I think. I think compared to previous seasons where you'd have major blank game weeks, I think these ones are much more smaller. So I think it's much more easier to navigate it with just a couple of transfers here and there.
And plus, the new rule lets you accumulate those transfers. The only problem
100%.
is that we're trying to set up to do it, and now the Gabriel injury is just gonna force us into a move.
That's a
So
stupid
that's
one, yeah, unfortunately. But I think also Gabriel can be benched maybe for a couple of games, to be honest, because the wild card has set you up, I think, decently for the next couple of weeks. So instead of burning the transfer, just burn the transfer when the blank comes along. I think it might be an opportunity to do that, unless you're going to bench boost, obviously, before. Because I mean, we only got confirmed that he's definitely out for the season today. So I'm probably going to have to wait and see who's potentially a good pick and consider over the next few weeks, is there anyone that I want to replace him with? So I did consider the straight swap for Saliba because I've got the money in the bank for it, but it's just a consideration at the moment. And maybe even Timber, I guess, is a decent option, but I think with Ben White back, he might be a bit of a risky pick as well. So we'll see how it goes. I haven't really looked at options for him yet. Maybe even a Villa defender. A Villa defender. So Konza, for example, might also be an option there.
I was about to ask, like, Mohamed Hussein, if you, besides the Gabriel move that we might be forced into at some point, we will be forced into at some point. If you had your wild card set for this coming week, what differences would you have made? What changes would you have made?
If I was doing my wildcard this week, probably not, because my aim was to
Yeah, if you
sort the
didn't play
wild
it
card
last week.
out. The aim was to sort the wild card out for game week 32 and 33. That was the plan anyway. So capitalize
Yeah,
on
but
both those
based on what
doubles
you've
instead.
seen in terms of performances, is there anything you would have done differently?
I might have I might have potentially gone maybe Morgan Rogers, So he was one of the options that I did consider initially. And I actually did a last minute change from Rogers to Savinio just before the deadline. I mean, it was a 2 point swing, so it wasn't a massive thing. What I would have probably done as well is I might have not gone on Munoz and might have rather doubled up on Palace attack. I think you did that in yours, right? So
That's what I
that was
did,
a
and I
consider.
wasn't so impressed with that move. I mean, Eze and Sa both weren't that
Mm.
great.
Mateta, unfortunately, I think his minutes after his injury was quite unfortunate. So I think they're still trying to manage his minutes for some odd reason. But I think he was quite an unfortunate one as well. So I might have potentially considered after seeing him go off for 59 minutes, potentially not. Because I mean, I don't think he's guaranteed 90 now in the next few games, right? He's probably gonna play again 60 or 70 again in the weekend. And then, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be a guarantee in game week 32 to play 90 minutes both those games. So his expected minutes has gone down for me um quite dramatically. This Arsenal defense, I'm sick of it at this point in time, to be honest. So I'm actually happy Gabriel's injured, so I can get rid of him, and I'm not going to double up on Arsenal defense again. It just pains me. Every time I've had two of them, I haven't seen the value this season. So I think if I was wildcarding this week, Gabriel probably wouldn't be in my team. Guardiola, I think I was quite happy with, to be honest. Salah, happy with. Salah, I was kind of comfortable with. Jacob Murphy, I mean, did get some points, I guess, again this week, so he's not a bad option. Ideally, I would have liked Anthony Gordon. I think he would have been someone that would have been worthwhile, but I think funds was just an issue for him, to be honest. But I guess the rest of it, I wouldn't have probably changed too much, even though I said I would have changed about 3 or 4 players at the moment after this week. But I'm relatively comfortable. I think if I had wildcarded now, it would have been 2 or 3 changes max. Maybe planning a little bit more for the Villa because Villa look really
I'm
good at
glad.
the moment. The scores coming, I'm like, you see this guys, this thing is so especially when Saka got benched. I'm like, why am I still playing this game? Why am I not done with the season yet? And then it fortunately came off the bench and scored. But then Mateta going off for that 1 pointer, you see, it was incredibly frustrating.